Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's B.E.S.T standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go, I see you. And let's dive into today's B.E.S.T standard. Hello, my friends, and welcome. My name is Sarah McCarthy, the creator of McCarthy Math Academy. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy, busy, nonstop schedules to join me as we break down today's B.E.S.T standard, which happens to be its MA.3.NSO.1.1. MA stands for math. 3 stands for third grade, NSO stands for the strand up here, which is number, sense, and operations, and then we got 1.1, which is the benchmark for today. So this standard says to read and write numbers from 0 to 10,000, meaning 10,000 is our limit at the top and 0 is our limit at the bottom, in between those two, using standard form, expanded form, and word form. So those are our big three here. We've got standard form, that's the regular old-fashioned way to write numbers. You can see right here, standard form, like the 2,530. Expanded form is like right here, where we're breaking apart the value of the digits. So 2,000 plus 500 plus 30. And then we have word form, which happens to be the first one in the example that they gave us, which is 2,530 written in words. And I always tell students, if we can read the number 2,530, like it's mentioned over here in standard form, it helps us to write the number in word form. If you can read it, you can write it. Let's take a look at some of these connecting benchmarks or the horizontal alignment. Basically, other standards that are in third grade that we will see that can kind of be connected to the one we're going over today. The first one is 3.NSO.1.2, which is composing and decomposing numbers. We also have some terms that we need to pay attention to. The first one is expression. That is where we do not have an equal sign, like 3 plus 2. You have 3, you have numbers, you have symbols, but we don't have an equal sign present. We might solve to find the value of an expression, but if there is no equal sign present, we call that an expression. If there is an equal sign present, we call that an equation. All right, and also you'll need to know whole numbers. That is 0, starting at 0, counting all the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count them all the way up to infinity if you want to. However, remember for this standard, we're only going to 10,000, all right? Now, where are they coming from in second grade? That's our next question. They're coming from this standard right here, 2.NSO.1.1, which is the same thing. It says to read and write numbers, but this time it's from 0 to 1,000. So your students should be coming to you with knowledge of standard form, word form, and expanded form. We all know that we have to fill in whatever gap students have, so it's nice that they should be coming up with something, but at the same time, if they missed it in second grade, it's okay because we will get it in third grade, right? And then next year in fourth grade, they'll do the same thing, but this time going from 0 to 1 million. Reading, writing numbers, standard form, word form, expanded form, couple different ways for expanded form there. Next year. So we got that. All right. Now there's this next section, which is the purpose and instructional strategies. I'm just going to point out some things that jump out at me, all right, during this. So we have, again, seeing standard form, expanded form, and word form. One of the things that jumps out at me is I love that they're taking time in these B.E.S.T standards to focus on place value. However, we know as third grade teachers, we don't know what they're coming up with. And it's really important that they get these foundational skills down of being able to identify places of digits, the ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands place, and even 10,000s place in this case. because we can go up to 10,000. And also what else was I going to say? I said the names of the places and the values of digits, taking time. And you'll see in a second when I point out some resources that are in the members only area that we've done that. Okay. This is great because it's going to lean right into this next standard. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling around a little bit, but this next standard up here, being able to read and write numbers and taking the time with place value, it really flows nicely into the composing and decomposing number section. So make sure that we get this time. What else did I see? Okay, to make sure that we're doing it with vertical and horizontal forms, especially with the expanded form, which you'll see that in just a second. And it also says here that we can take some time to showcase the commutative and the associative properties. Commutative is like 3 plus 2 equals 2 plus 3. And the associative property is similar. It's just saying that we can add 3 add-ins. We could say 2,000 plus 1 plus 30 to get 2,031. We can mix up the order of our add-ins to get the same sum. Just to take it up a notch there. Yes, I love here the common misconceptions. Students can misunderstand, I'm sorry, that it represents that basically misinterpreting what the value of 0 really means. So take time when you have zeros in your numbers, take time to explain what do those zeros mean. Like for right here in 1008, we have 0 hundreds and 0 tens. Taking time to explain that. Don't just assume that students know that. Make sure that you take time to explain that. And here are some of the different instructional tasks and examples of items that you can expect to see. You can see here that we've gone from word form, trying to figure it out, into expanded form. Yeah, you can take time to look at that though. Okay, so let's take a peek at the resources that you might have access to, okay? So let's take a look. We're going to enter into our membership, go to taking on the B.E.S.T. We are working on 3rd grade today. Which strand? We want NSO for number sense and operations. And we are working on the very first standard right here. Okay, which is MA.3.NSO.1.1. All right, so if you are a bronze member, you have access to these video lessons and these printable resources over here. And you can see what I was talking about with that very first video lesson is foundational skills and place value. I'm just clicking on the PDF real quick so you can see where you can take time with your students to break down the places that digits are located in and the value of the digits, okay? Definitely check that out. You can also see that we have a read and write numbers episode where we practice reading and writing numbers in the different forms. Okay. So these are the printable guides, again, that go right along with the video lesson. That is the bronze resource area. Now, if you are a silver resource member, come on over here, which actually everybody for this standard can take a look. You get access to all 3 for this one, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so if you need to go back to those video lessons, you just click up here, back, and it'll take you back to the bronze resources that we've got. But we want to take a look at the silver. So we have first, oh my goodness, okay. You have tons of printables, answer keys, and then you have a math misconception mystery, which is super fun. Basically what it is, it's a mystery. Your students get to become the detective. It's going to start playing, hang on. Your students get to become the math detectives. They're given a problem by yours truly. And that's a little blurry. Let me move that up. And what happens is they're given a problem. They have to solve it on their own, or you can have them work with groups or together as a whole class. And then they watch 4 characters, which are really just me dressed up in different characters disguises. And 3 of the characters solve the problem incorrectly. 1 of them solves it correctly. And the students have to discover even if the characters got it incorrectly, what did they do right? How could you help them to get it right the next time? Who has the most reasonable answer and why? It is so much fun to have these discussions with these videos. So definitely take a look at this. You can see, let me just scroll up a little bit.
The thing though, 3 of those characters made a mistake, and only one character solved it correctly. After each character...
You can definitely check this out, but like, here's one of them. Here's Paula.
I know the directions said to write it in word form, which I did, but first I wrote the number in standard form to help me right there. And you can see that the standard form is 538. And so that's what I wrote, 538.
Okay. So there you have the students pause the video, jot down notes about what that character did correctly or incorrectly, and then move on to the next one. Super fun. Check that out. Okay, your printables. So with the bronze, you get the video lesson and the worksheet that goes with it. For the silver, you get, well, here's the video lesson, but you also get access to, that's also a video lesson. You can tell the video lessons because of the icons right there. But then you get extra practice pages. Basically what we did in the videos, now they get extra practice to really sharpen up those skills. So this, you can see with this worksheet, we're going from standard form to word form, or word form to standard form, practicing that way. In this one, extra practice 2, we are reading and writing numbers from standard form into expanded form. And look here, see how number 4 has the vertical way to do it, which the standard mentioned that we just dissected. And then extra practice 3 is putting it all together. So if you have the word form, what would the standard form be? What would the expanded form be? And so on. Just lots of extra practice for you. You also have access to the math missions, which is reading and writing numbers. So here's an example that Derek has a check, and you have to write it in word form here, and it's fun because I get to fill out a check. And then part 2, Derek says that 127 written in expanded form is 100 plus 200 plus 7. Do you agree with him? Explain your thinking. Basically, the whole thing with the math missions is to take the learning up a notch. With the video lessons, they're getting exposed to the content. With the extra practice, they're sharpening up those skills so that way they can be ready for math missions, which is like this, a math task for every standard, and math misconception mystery, which is the video that I showed you before that has the 4 characters, and one of them solves it correctly. The rest of them do not, and why? All right, and then here's where they can fill it out. Okay, you also, in the silver package, you get access to the answer keys. Okay, so that's what you get with the silver for this standard, and then for the gold, which you all will receive because for this standard, everything is opened up for you. Okay, so if at any time you need to go back to the bronze resources, which are the video lessons, the silver resources are all the extras, and then for the gold, you get a mini assessment. Let's click that. Okay. See, it's just a little mini assessment to check their understanding. You also get the answer key there, which I'm actually not going to go over just in case you do want to use these with your students. But if you have the membership, you can check that out there, okay? And then the breaking down the best, that's what you're watching right now. So as soon as we wrap up this video is going right there in that spot. And for the gold, and you also have access to McCarthy Math 155, which was used across Florida when we had the Common Core standard. So they don't align perfectly, which is why taking on the best exists, but you do have access to all of these videos. So right now we're working a lot with place value, right? So here's some more. Welcome to my place, where we go over places. Knowing your value. That's the value of digits. Introduction to rounding, all that stuff, okay? So you get access to tons and tons of videos that you can check out. These are the old math misconception mystery videos that are included with the gold membership. All right? So I think that will do it for today. I really hope that this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T helps you to then help your students to take on the B.E.S.T standards. I know that you've got this. Before we go, let me remind you that what you are choosing to do with your life, it really matters. You really matter. Now, I know that this teaching profession can be super tough, absolutely exhausting, and all the other feelings, right? All the happy, it's just a roller coaster ride, this profession. I know. Our students, they are the future. And honestly, we may never know how our time with our students impacts them down the road. But we have to trust that what we're doing is making a difference, that we help them step into a better version of themselves. Teachers, I believe in you. You all are rock stars in my life. You have my heart. And with that said, I want to thank you for joining me on today's episode of Breaking Down the Best. All right, I'll see you soon. Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best of my ability. All right, for real now. Bye.